So the developer and I have written all of these rules. Good job, by the way. And the rules are in the app.
Well, that's a load off my shoulders while I get packed.
Wait up, you didn't let me finish my sentence. All of your hullabaloo about security now has me paranoid.
You're welcome. Okay. I guess it is my fault you're on the security kick. What's the problem?
Here, I'll walk you through it. Our decision to use email as the key for the user is causing a lot of issues. This boils down to the fact that the only secure and verified method for knowing who a person is in the security rules is using the auth.uid. You don't automatically have any sort of email associated with the account. And this is, of course, why we made our mapping node from UID to email. Unfortunately, this connection here is a very hard thing to secure. Let me walk you through an example. So we have our hacker here. She has no sort of special permissions to access our Firebase app, but she is JavaScript and Firebase savvy, so she could execute some arbitrary JavaScript code on our app. And she could write pretty much any JavaScript code that she likes, as long as our database rules permit her to either do the read or the write. So let's take a look at the rules that we have right now for the UID mapping node. Our rules say that anyone logged in can read a single UID from the UID mappings node. And if you are the user who's associated with that node, you can write data to it, as long as you are adding data for the first time. And we further have a validate rule, just to make sure that the value is in the form of an encoded email. Okay, so the first thing that our hacker could do is execute a create account command. The first issue that I'm seeing here is that since she's doing this outside of our Android app, she can basically bypass that whole nice reset password login flow that we had. So there's nothing that's really forcing her to prove that she actually owns the email that she claims that she owns when she calls this create user command. And this should work. The Firebase backend will return to her a UID. So now she has a UID that she has legitimate access to. So here's a sample of our UID mappings table. And the question is there anything in the rules that stops the hacker from making an entry like this? Basically, an entry where she uses the legitimate UID that she got for herself and then associates it with some email, such as my email.
No, I guess not. After all, the only rule is that they are adding an entry associated with their own user, and that's a new entry. So yes, that seems bad, but what does it mean for the app?
It means terrible, terrible things. Here, let's take a look at the database. Literally every rule trusts that the UID mapping tells you what email the UID is associated with. So if we can hack that mapping, it essentially gives our hacker complete access to all of my shopping lists. And that's a pretty major issue. So again, issue number one is that there's not really a real way to enforce our reset login flow if somebody is executing code outside of the Shopping List Plus Plus Android app. And issue number two is that with just a little bit of JavaScript code, a hacker could easily impersonate another user. And that's because our UID mappings table is currently insecure, and it's actually pretty tricky or potentially impossible to secure in our security rules.
And you're launching version 0.5 when?
In a week.
Sweet Nexus, that's my ride to the airport. Okay, I'll tell you what. I think I can ask Puff to chat with you. He's actually in the SF office today and might be able to swing by your office.
Well, that's actually incredibly convenient, and my cribbage match got rescheduled, so awesome.
Well, then I'll tell him to take the company two-person manned experimental flying electric vehicle.
Excellent. Thanks, JP, and safe travels.